film hier soir? Ok, pas mal. Ouais, qui connaît pas du tout le travail de Bill? Ok, mais vous allez découvrir. Alors, on a un petit problème avec les vidéos à montrer, mais on va quand même réussir à vous montrer des choses. Donc, c'est le 9e film de Bill Plympton en animation. Il va vous en parler mieux que moi. Le film sort le 5 novembre. On est ED Distribution, on suit ces films depuis 30 ans. Et je vais donc laisser la parole à Bill. Tout le monde parle anglais? Donc ça va être en anglais. Je vous laisse parler, Bill. Bill. Et merci à l'AFCA, merci à Emile Cohl de nous recevoir ici. Et c'est parti.
What did you say?
That you are Bill Plympton, that we're working with you since 30 years. I thank Emile Cohl and AFCA.
Yes, yes. Okay, merci beaucoup. I will speak English. I'm sorry, but my French is very bad. But I'm very happy to be here and to talk about my career as an animator, as an independent animator. So I grew up in Oregon, which is just north of California, and lots of rain, it blew. And I spent a lot of time indoors drawing, and I love to draw. It was magical. The people I could create and the drawings I made was very magical. And then I saw Walt Disney on television, and I said, that's what I want. I want to be like Walt Disney. I want to make my drawings move. To me, that was so much fun. And so I practiced drawing all the cartoons, and unfortunately, when I went to college, animation was a dying art form. Walt Disney had died, and the studio was bankrupt. They weren't making movies. Warner Brothers stopped making cartoons, and Fleischer Brothers stopped making cartoons. So the only people making cartoons was Hanna-Barbera, and I hated Hanna-Barbera. Tu connais Hanna-Barbera? Yeah. So I moved to New York City, and I became an illustrator for magazines, newspapers, a lot of the men's magazines, Penthouse and Playboy and Screw. And this is where I developed my style, my drawing style. And this is where I developed how to make people laugh. I kept a big file of ideas, funny ideas that I could turn into cartoons. Any questions so far? Am I speaking too fast or too slow? Okay, you're very smart, very smart. So for 15 years, I was an illustrator, but I still wanted to make animation. And then this woman asked me to make an animated cartoon. She knew I wanted to be an animator, and of a song by a famous New York cartoonist called Jules Feiffer. And the song was called Boomtown. And I said, yay, I finally get to make animation. And they showed me how to make a film, all the steps. And back then, this was in 1985, it was very expensive. You had to get film and a big camera and a film lab, and but I learned how to make a film. And the film was a success. It played all over America. I think it played in Europe quite a bit. And I said, yay, now I know how to make a film. I'm going to make mine. And so I invented a character. I hope you can see. I don't know. You see over there? Okay. I wanted a character who was very boring. So I like triangles. I love triangles. For me, triangles are more brilliant shape. It's a perfect shape. And tiny eyes. something like that. A tiny mouth. That's it. That's all I need for a mouth. Just like that. That's a Winsor McKay mouth. Winsor McKay did mouths like that, and they're beautiful. He had a mustache, comme ça, and like this. And I gave him some greasy hair, very slick hair like that. And I wanted to make him real boring, so I gave him a suit. And my idea was to take this guy's head and do as many weird things as I could think of to his head. You know, inside out, upside down, pieces flying everywhere. And I just wanted to experiment with how weird I could make the face. That was my concept. And I think we have it to show. Do you have your face to show? Great. Music? In front of the camera. That's good. Merci, merci beaucoup. So this little film, it's only 3 minutes long, changed my life. I remember the first time I screened the film in New York City, a room this size, and it was a competition, a film festival competition for shorts. And I sat way in the back so I could escape if they hated the film and they threw things at me. So I was really afraid because these were big professional animators. They were famous, and I was nobody. So the film started, and after about 4 or 5 seconds, people started to laugh. And throughout my whole career of being an illustrator, I'd never heard people laugh at my cartoons before, never, because they went out to people's homes. Now to hear a big room like this laughing was a very unique experience for me. And I started to levitate. I was like, oh, I was floating because of the new experience. And after the film ended, people came over to me and said, "Are you Bill Plympton? Did you make that film?" And I said, "Yeah, that was me." And they said, "Well, let's go out and have a drink and talk animation." And this was the first time I ever felt like I belonged, like this is where I should be. And I was older. I was like 37, 38, something like that. And to finally discover my career at that late age, I felt like I had to catch up. So I made a lot of shorts: How to Kiss, 25 Ways to Quit Smoking, One of Those Days, and they were all big successes, but not as big as Your Face. Your Face was nominated for an Oscar, played in Annecy, and won many prizes. And all of a sudden, people were giving me money, like at Annecy, after the film screened. People from Arte said, "Oh, here's $3,000. We want that film." Or from BBC, "Here's $5,000. We want your film." So I didn't know there was money involved in making these films. I just did it because I thought it would be fun, and that was the spirit that I made the film in. So the next film was How to Kiss. That was a big success, and that was an idea that was first drawn for Rolling Stone magazine. Rolling Stone wanted an illustration for Valentine's Day, and so I did these crazy kisses, and that was a big success. And then 25 Ways to Quit Smoking, which I think was the biggest success because the MTV bought it, and they kept showing it every year, over and over again, because they liked the film so much. So right away I was a success. And I can't tell you how rare that is. Most people work for 10 years making cartoons, and then they are finally a success. Any questions? Okay, very good. So I'm going to, in that story, I'm going to start another story. I'll go back earlier when I was in college. Oh, I'm sorry, yes. How I think what? Well, if I get your question right, what I do is storyboards. But before I do storyboards, I do drawings just to show some ideas, idea drawings, concept art, they call it. Thank you. And the concept art is pages and pages of crazy heads doing crazy things. And I choose the ones that I think are the funniest, and those are the ones that I put into the film. I do test my films. I like to show it to friends or people I don't even know and ask them, what do you think? And that's really important to test a film. And I do that with all my films, my low metrage, my chrometrage, and it really helps a lot. But anyway, we'll go back to when I was back in college in Oregon, and there was a film festival there, and one of the guys showing his films were commercials, big long commercials, like 20 minutes for like outboard motors or sweaters or some big fashion design. And they were hilarious. They were so funny. He was like Monty Python before Monty Python. And I went up to him. I said, "Boy, I love your films. They're really funny." And he said, "Well, come up to my house and I'll show you some more of my films." So I followed him up there, and I walk in the door, and there's this little 14-year-old kid on the floor drawing cartoons. And so I went over to him and I said, "Wow, I like your cartoons. You're very funny." And he said, "Yeah," and that was Matt Groening. And his father was Homer Groening. That's where he got the name Homer Simpson. And so we've been friends a long time because he lived in Portland and I would live in Portland. And I remember once he goes to Annecy a lot. He loves Annecy, and so do I. And we were out on a boat in the lake, the beautiful lake, and drinking wine and getting drunk, ha ha ha. And he says, "You know, Bill, you should do something for The Simpsons." I said, "Yeah, I would love to do something for The Simpsons." So he let me do the couch gag, which are those little bits of humor at the beginning of the show. And I think I did 7 of them. And I'm going to show you one that I think is my favorite. Are you ready for the Homer's Face, it's called. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Yeah, that was a big hit. And I do have the original art here for both Homer's Face and your face. So afterwards, if you want to come up and look at the original art, you can do that. I've been told that we should do questions at the end, okay? I'm sorry. Because we don't have much time. I got to catch my train and everything. So anyhow, I will do a drawing of Homer for you. Homer's great. He's got a bald head, and the eyes are very big. Comme ça. Oops, that's not a nose. And one of the ways you know it's a Matt Groening drawing is he has hair back here, and it's an M, and then the ear is a G for Groening, and that's how you know it's Matt's drawing. Something like that. You always do the gut. He's got to have a big gut. something like that. Oh, I forgot this. So anyway, I'm going to continue with my, actually I'm going to continue with talking about how my secret to success in independent animation. And you know, it's okay. If you want to work at a big studio, that's fine, because you'll make a lot of money, you'll be secure, you live in a fancy house and everything. But I like to be independent. For me, it's important that I have the freedom to make whatever I want to make. And so what I have what's called Plympton's dogma. And has people heard of this before? Anybody? Oh, good. Wow, wow. So anyway, Plympton's dogma is my secret to making cartoons that are very popular and make a lot of money. So rule number 1 is make your film short. I judge a lot of festivals, and when I see a 20-minute film, already I hate that film. I do not want to see that film, because if it's a bad movie, I'm wasting 20 minutes of my life watching this crap. So please do not make a 20-minute movie. All my films are about 5 minutes, maybe less. Your Face is, I think, 3 minutes, something like that. And also, you can't show a 20-minute film to anybody. The purpose of making a short film is to show people what you can do, to show people you can draw really well, you have good ideas, you know how to tell a story. This is the essence. And you can tell a really great story in 2 minutes. Really, you can tell a wonderful story in 2 minutes. And if you show it to somebody, a big art director or a festival, they will sit through 1, 2 minute, 3 minute film. They will not sit through a 20-minute film. Nobody has that time, that kind of time. So please don't make a long short film. Number 2, make your film cheap. Do not spend a lot of money on the film with computers and special effects and lots of hiring people to do these computer animation. It's really hard to make that money back. My secret is I do as much as I can on the film by myself. For example, I do the story, I do the storyboards, I do the character design, I do the background design, I do the layouts, I do the animation, I help with the editing. I don't do the editing, but I help with the editing. And I help with the music. Sometimes I even do my own music, and sometimes I do my own voices. So if I can do all those things on the film, then I save a lot of money. I don't have to hire people to do that stuff. So try and do as much as you can. Plus, it's just so much fun. I mean, that's the fun part, is watching the film come together and watching the pieces fall into place. And 3, make it funny. Now, if you want to make a political film, that's fine. Go ahead and make it. But no one's going to want to watch it if it's really serious and somber and you put a little humor in there. It's really a great way to get people to watch a film. I was a political cartoonist for a long time, and in all my political cartoons, I tried to put a little joke in there, make it funny, make it exaggerated, and that's why I was successful. I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you about a short film that is is perfect film, my favorite perfect film. And You may have seen it. It's called Bambi Meets Godzilla. Anybody seen that film? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Check it out. It's called Bambi Meets Godzilla by Marv Newland, a guy from Canada. You can find it online. It's everywhere online because it's just, you know, it's so popular. It's basically this deer, a Bambi, and it's a very cute deer. Big eyes. And he's eating flowers. And then out of nowhere comes a foot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you show it? Oh, good. Yeah. Great. Let's show it. And this film was made for... That's it. It was about 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, something like that. And he did all my dogma points were there. It's 1.5 minutes, I think, something like that. It's cheap. It cost him $500 to make. He made it in a weekend when he was a student at USC. And it's funny. I was laughing again. I've seen it, maybe 50 times. I'm still laughing at the film. So he really hit all my points. And Disney was going to sue him because you can't use Bambi. That's Disney's Bambi. And then the people at Disney Studios figured it out that, it's such a great film. It helps promote Bambi. So they said you can keep Bambi and show the film. It's made over $100,000, and it's still making money. And I just wish I could make a film like that. It's really one of my favorite films. Okay, another lesson. I forgot to mention that my dogma describes my girlfriends. That's what they're like. No, that's terrible. That's not even funny. So anyway, so you make this film. It's a really, really wonderful film. Where do you get these ideas? Where do I get my ideas? I have a book. You probably all have this, a little notebook. And when I'm walking down the streets of New York City, I write down the ideas. And this one idea came to me when I was at the park right next to where I live. And this dog was barking at a little bird. And I wondered, why is the dog fearful for this cute little, sweet little bird? And I went inside the dog's brain and realized that he was afraid that the bird would attack his master and he would lose his companion. He'd lose his home, his person who fed him, his playmate. And so he took after that bird because he was afraid of the bird. And I thought, that's a funny idea. I could do that. And so I went home. I started doing drawings of the character, of a dog rather, that I thought would work. And this is the, it's right here. This is the character I came with. He's sort of a circular, like a ball. He's sort of like a ball, big mouth, like that, big eyes, nose. And then for ears, I had 2 bumps, for tail, a bump, and for legs, 4 bumps. Very simple drawing, very simple. No toenails, no hair, no ankles or anything. A big tongue, and 1 tooth on the top and 1 tooth on the bottom. And with this character, I could really tell a great story. This dog was I found very appealing. It was an animal that I kind of fell in love with, and I really loved drawing him. So let's watch. It's called Guard Dog. We have Guard Dog. Merci. Merci. Merci beaucoup. By the way, I'm donating all my drawings here to the school. If you want, you can sell them or give them away. It's what you want. I think you people are really very lucky. Now is a time where animation is extremely popular, and there's a need for great animators. When I was starting out, nobody wanted animation except maybe for kids, and there was really no future in being an animator because Disney had almost gone out of business, and there were no other studios making animation. So here's what I would suggest you do if you're interested in having a career in animation. I would make a piece of film, 2 or 3 minutes long, not too long, that shows off your talents, how great you can draw, how great you can tell a story, how wonderful you are at backgrounds or whatever. Just shows off your talents, and then show that around to prospective studios. And then you can take that film also and enter the festivals. The festivals is where I got discovered. The Annecy and the Oscars and Cannes and places like that was where my films were discovered. And so you would take this film and enter as many festivals as you can. Fortunately, in Europe, they don't charge a lot of money. In America, they charge a lot of money to enter your films. But I think that would be the way to go. And then I would join a studio, some kind of studio. It doesn't have to be animation. It could be an internet studio or advertising agency or some sort of visual medium. And work there for a few years. Put some money in the bank. Collect a bunch of ideas that you think would be great films. Can make connections with other people in the business, people who are working at film labs or technology labs, or learn all the software. There's a lot of different software, and a lot of it is really great for what you're doing. Maybe not, but for 6 or 7 years, you could work at a studio, and then if you feel really bold and you really want to give it a shot, quit and make your own films and put them on the internet or put them in the festivals, and hopefully they will connect like Your Face did, and you will be able to make money on films. In the U.S., there's a number of animators who do that. Don Hertzfeld, do people know who Don Hertzfeld is? I'll show you. Once I draw him, you'll probably know who he is. But he lives in Texas, and he's been nominated for 2 or 3 shorts, I think. But he's the guy that looks like this. I think he has fingers. Sometimes he has fingers. Have you seen him? Wow. Yeah, you got to check out Don Hertzfeld. He's amazing. And then Pez, he did Fresh Guacamole, which was nominated for an Oscar. And then, of course, Pat Smith and Signa Bauman, and there's a lot of people who are making short films on their own and making money doing that. So it is possible to make money without working for a big studio. When I was very young, I loved cowboy movies. In fact, I wanted to be a cowboy. And I was drawing cowboys all the time. And about 10 years ago, I did a little music video using the cowboy kind of character, Can we see Mexican standoff? Great. He's doing a great job. Let's give him a big hand. Here we are. Oops. Thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup. It was a lot of fun, and I loved developing that horse and the cowboy hats and the guns. It's so much fun to draw cowboys. And so I decided to make my next feature film, long metrage, a cowboy film, a Western, sort of like Mel Brooks in Blazing Saddles. I wanted to have a comedy, maybe some music, and cowboys. And so I started it about 8 years ago. Then COVID hit, and I ran out of money because all the cinemas were shut down. So I had to stop and do music videos and things like that. I just finished it last year, and in America we call it slide because he plays a slide guitar. And here it's called Duel. And we have a trailer from the film Duel, and it opens November 5th. So tell all your friends, go on the internet and check it out. and we're going to watch the trailer right now. Thank you. Thank you. We also have artwork from Dual. It's a ballpoint pen and colored pencil. And I like that. I like that combination. So I'm going to do one quick drawing of the cowboy, my cowboy. I like this hat. It's kind of a Clint Eastwood hat. It works for me. I don't know why. It's got the big high collar, broad shoulders. And he plays slide guitar. Now, I played slide guitar when I first moved to New York. I was in a band, and we played bars and clubs, and I love the sound of a slide guitar. It's a very cowboy kind of instrument. And he always has shadow in his eyes, so he's kind of mysterious. He's kind of a ghost-like cowboy. And then very long legs with, of course, those big boots. And that's slide. Sometimes I put buttons over here. I don't know. Maybe that's too Clint Eastwood. But that's my cowboy. And I'm going to end our talk by showing you my new short film. I have a new short film called Ducks. It's a fairy tale. It's about 5 minutes long, like all my films. Do we have the there? Okay, here we go. This is the brand new film called Duckville. Duckville, that's what it's called.
Sprawling elm tree in the village green, and a lovely historic church tower with chiming
Merci. And this is how I draw the duck. It's very easy sketch. That's it. That's the duck right there. I don't have a name for him. Just the duck. So that's really about all I can say at this point. Well, I think we have time for a few questions. Is that right? Oh, we do? Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you have any questions now, now's a good time. Yes, sir. Or ma'am, sorry. It's fine. I can't see very well. Oh, yeah. Yep. We're going to have a move a mic. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
very
delightful. So, as a fellow Oregon Portland native, is there a big animation community there or not really?
You know this, right? You know the answer?
No, I don't.
Actually, Portland is a very cartoony town. A lot of cartoonists come from there. Matt Groening, of course, and myself, and some others. And Guillermo del Toro shot his Pinocchio film there a few years ago. And also Leica Studios, which, as you know, produces a lot of great films, is based there. And it's a big puppet studio. They do great animation. So it's kind of weird that I moved from Portland to New York to be an animator, and everybody in the world is moving to Oregon to be an animator. And you should try it. You should definitely think about Leica as an opportunity to hire people. They're always looking for great artists and great designers and great storytellers. So yeah, Portland, Oregon is a real hub of animation.
Delightful, especially because, okay, I don't know if this is just one teacher in particular, but we've been led to believe that there's currently a sort of animation bubble that's been burst lately. And, you know, everyone kind of told us that 3D animation is the only future. And
No. There's all kinds of animation. That's. I mean, my film, Slide or Duel at Monte Carlo del Norte, is very messy. You can see it's very sloppy, because for me, that's what the cowboys were. They were always dirty and grungy and bad hair and bad teeth. And to me, that was really interesting. And that's what I'm trying to do with that film. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good. Yeah, I do want to talk about how I've done 9 long métrage by myself. I did all the drawings, all the storyboards, of course, all the layouts, all the backgrounds, and my budgets are really pretty low. Because I don't pay myself, so the budgets are generally around $200,000 to $500,000. So that's about the same in euros, 200,000 to 500,000 euros, and they get distributed. I'll tell you one story. I was in Sundance. And I had my film, my long métrage film, I Married a Strange Person. And the audience was loving it. They were crazy for it. People were standing up and applauding and ovations. And I said, oh man, this film's going to sell really easily. And it didn't. Nobody bought it in America because they thought animation is for children. So I was really depressed, and I was taking the bus that goes around the city, Park City, and drops the skiers off at the ski spots and also the cinemas. And I saw the guy from Lionsgate Films, the head of Lionsgate Films. And I met him the night before at a party. And I went up to him and I said, hey, I don't know if you remember me, I'm Bill Plympton. I have a brand new film. It's called I Married a Strange Person. The audience loves it. It's going crazy. I think you should pick it up. And he looked at me and he said, you know, Bill, I would love to, but I have a stack of films this high of DVDs I have to watch. I don't have time to see those. I can't see any more films. And so I was really depressed, and I kind of turned around and started to walk away. And just then, the door to the bus opens, and in walks this 20-year-old snowboarder. And he had snow all over his hat, dripping down his face, and the snowboard was dripping all snow all over the guy from Lionsgate Film, and he was kicking off the snow. And the guy was kind of a messy guy. And he looks at me and he says, dude, you're Bill Plympton. You made I Married a Strange Person. I said, yeah, that was it. That film fucking rocks. And then he jumps off the bus and he goes down the hill and he's gone. And I don't know where he came from, but his timing was perfect. The guy from Lionsgate says, well, okay, let me see that DVD. Maybe I should watch it. And he watched it. And he loved it, and he gave me a big advance, and I even got royalty checks, which is impossible to get royalty checks in Hollywood. So distribution is very tricky. You need a little bit of luck. You need a lot of talent. You need connections. It's really good to have a lot of connections, to know the right people to sell a film. And I don't say being independent is for everybody. I think a lot of people would prefer to work in a big studio where they, they're very comfortable and there's no pressure. For me, I don't say I like the pressure, but I like the independence of making my own film. I'm going to tell you the Disney story. Some of you may have heard it before. I apologize. But I was, when I was like 12, 13, I sent a packet of drawings to Disney of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. I love Goofy. I did a lot of drawings of Goofy. They said, your work shows promise, but you're too young. Come back in 20 years. So I kind of forgot about it. And then around 1987, I did this film called Your Face that got nominated for an Oscar, and Disney sent out a lawyer to my studio in New York. He comes in, nice suit and tie, very formal, sits down and pulls out a contract from his briefcase and puts it in front of me and says, Walt Disney Studios wants to offer you $1 million to come work for us. Wow, this is my dream come true. This is what I wanted when I was a kid. I wanted to work for, and $1 million. And this was 30 years ago, so it was a lot of money back then. And I was so excited. I said, I want to give you a hug. I'm so happy. But I just have a few questions. Can I still make my little weird short films on the weekend on my own time? They said, yeah, you can do that, but Disney will own it. I said, well, what if I tell someone a funny joke? They said, well, Disney owns that too. What if I have a dream? And he says, that's ours. And that's the way Disney works, and I don't blame them, because there's so many people who don't care who they work for. They just want to work for Disney, and that's all that matters. So I looked at him and I said, no, I'm going to turn it down. Now, maybe that was one of the stupidest things I ever did, because I could be living in a mansion now with a limousine and stuff like that. Or I could have been fired after a couple months because my humor was too weird. I don't know, but every morning when I wake up, and I go to my drawing board and I draw whatever the hell I want, and no one's looking over my shoulder saying, no, you can't draw that. For me, that's worth more than $1 million. And that's why I'm independent. Thank you. Another question.
Same person, yes. Well, more of a little update about the current Disney situation. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I think it's great you didn't go for them.
It's what?
It's great that you didn't go for them.
Right.
Because, well, quite a few very... Oh, okay. Quite a few animators have left because of, well, you know, they're not being paid that well, so maybe it was a good idea in the long run.
Yeah.
And we can also discuss the fact that a lot of actually quite successful animated shows have been cancelled for no reason. Well, you know, nowadays a lot of those ex-Disney animators have started just posting animations on YouTube, and right now independent animation is really on the rise.
Do you have a question?
Well, apparently not. I meant just, well, it was a great idea to turn them down.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay, merci. Well, another great example is Tim Burton. You know, he worked for them for a little bit, and then he became independent, and he's like a very, very famous, very rich animator now. So it is possible to succeed on your own, and it's a decision you all have to make. And I wouldn't blame you at all if you decided to work for a big studio. It's a great gig. But for me, it didn't fit. I think I was too old then. You know, I was, when this happened, I was about 38, 39, and I kind of knew the films I wanted to make, the ideas I wanted to draw. So it wouldn't have fit. I would have been fired, I think, after a while. Anybody else back there?
Hi. It feels like you, as well as Terry Gilliam, both your careers started out by luck. Like, I mean, it feels like people came to you and asked you to direct a film. Do you feel like it happened by luck, or do you feel like you had to struggle and reach out to a lot of people?
I think it was luck, really. My problem, and I admit that I have some problems, I'm not aggressive. You got to go push, and you got to talk to people. If you're at a film festival and you see, you know, Tim Burton there, you got to go up and talk to him and say, hey, I love your films, you know, do you want to see my work? And I'm too shy. I don't know how to do that. Fortunately for now, people know who I am, and I don't have to push so much. But I think when you're young, you really have to be eager and forceful about people seeing your work. That's why you need to make a 1 or 2 minute short film, something that you can show them and say, you know, this is what I do, this is what I can do. And then once they see it, they'll say, oh, come work for me. That's the best thing.
Do you have advice for fellow shy people who maybe don't know how to push their film?
No, I didn't. If I did, I would be, you know, better. I remember I went to what's that festival up in the north with the old house, the old mansion? Was it? No. It was like 5-10 years ago. Anyway, it's a really old festival. They show American films. And it's on the beach, and I was swimming. I came in off the beach, and there was Steven Spielberg and Tom, what's his name? The actor guy. And, yeah. And and I said, oh my God, this is my opportunity, because actually Tom was trying to contact me about doing some animation. He wanted to see my reels. And I said, well, I can't talk to them. It's, you know, Steven Spielberg. What can I say? And I got a wet swimsuit on. You know, I'm like that guy, the snowboarder guy. And so I walked right on by. And that was so stupid. Even because I just had a wet swimsuit doesn't mean I can't talk to Steven Spielberg. And I blew it. And I just feel like, you know, he wouldn't know who I was bothering them. Maybe they were talking about something important. And so that's the way I am. That's the way I grew up. I was always very shy, no matter where I went.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You've never changed your music composer?
I'm sorry, what?
You have never changed your music composer?
Oh, no.
It's always the same name, I think, Maureen something?
Maureen McElleran, yeah. Yeah, she is someone I met when I first came to New York, and I loved her music. She was performing in a club. And I met her, and I told her I loved her music, and I've been using her since Your Face. She did the song, and she sang it. She sang Your Face. And she's been in almost every long-metrage film I do. She was in the Duckville film. She did her voice there. And occasionally I use this French woman. She's a wonderful voice. She did a film called Eat that I did. And her voice is so beautiful, and I use her a lot too. But for me, music is really important, and I love doing the music.
Hi.
Hello.
What is your process during animation? Because you use a technique who are not easy to erase, like pencil.
I missed the beginning.
Oh, sorry. What is your process for animation?
Yeah.
Because do you do sketch? Because you use technique who are not easy to erase.
Yeah. I don't have any sketches here. These are all finished drawings. There's a few uncolored drawings here. But yeah, I love to do lots of sketches. For me, the sketches is really important because when you're starting, especially a long metrage, the characters start changing, very, very tiny little changes, and more. And by the end of the film, they look very different. So I like to do 50 to 100 sketches of each character before I start the film. But I don't think that for me, the sketch, the character design is like solid. I like to change. Sometimes the character changes, he becomes happier, or he becomes friendlier, or maybe more angry. And so a character changing in the middle of a film is not a bad idea. Do you do 2D animation or 3D?
2D.
3D?
2D.
Oh, 2D.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love it. I love pencil. I love pencil drawing. That's how I started as a kid, and I love to do pencil art.
So do you do animatics for you?
Yes, I do, especially for the long metrage. It's important that we see how it moves, how it sounds, the music, the sound effects. That's really important. And then I like to show it to friends. Even as an animatic, I like to show it and get feedback about what they think about the film.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm, you're welcome. Down here, there's two. You're very good at handing it out. I like that.
I know it exists a book who was published in France, whose name is Défouloir, with drawings from you and from Roland Topor. Yeah. And my question is, how do you met the work from Roland Topor, and have you met him?
Yeah. Where did you see this book? You know the book?
I know the book, but my brother told me from this book this weekend, but
I
I
see.
didn't
Yeah.
see it yet.
It was not a big success, sad to say, but I heard that they may bring it out again with a new cover. But yeah, I did a book with Roland Topor, and Roland Topor was a big influence on me. When you see his drawings and my drawings, you can see the similarities. I like that the famous drawing where a guy gets hit in the face with a fist is fantastic. It was so wonderful. But the book was done by a friend of mine. I forgot her name now, but she put it together, the Topor and my drawings, as part of a style of drawing that really I think is very, very powerful. Very powerful. Did you have a question?
Do you play the guitar in a duel at Monte Carlo del Norte?
You got the card.
Yes.
Good. No, I do not play guitar in that film because we have this guy named Hank Bones, who is a professional musician, and he did all the instruments. He did the violin, he did the piano, he did bass, he did steel guitar, and I could not even come close to how good he is. So when it comes to music, I like to hire friends who are really good, and it makes it a lot better for me. He's been playing music since the tune. He first worked with me on the tune, and he's been getting better and better and better. And so, and I really like country songs, country music. So that's what he does. He plays it. We got a microphone here. Oh, look, that's great.
Are there any animators you wanna talk to us about? Like people you think have a very unique way of animating?
Yeah, I'm gonna write them down because then you can copy them. What's his name? Story. I forget his first name. Yeah, Story. I forget his first name, but he's a brilliant animator. Really, I think it's David Story. No, that's not it. And another guy. Oh shoot, I can't think of these guys' names. Well, I think you know Peter de Sève. People know him? Yeah, he's a genius. He's a genius illustrator. He designed a lot of animals for Ice Age, the Ice Age cartoons, but also does covers for the New Yorker magazine. Yeah, he's a genius. Another influence is Charles Adams. He developed the Addams Family, and he was doing cartoons in the 30s, a long time ago, and they were very dark, they were very noir, very violent, very torturous, very deadly, and people didn't use those kind of terms for cartoons in the 30s. He was the only one doing really dark cartoons. So I like Charles Adams a lot. I like A.B. Frost. He's an American cartoonist from about 100 years ago. He was really great. And of course, Winsor McCay. I think it's a K. Winsor McCay, yeah. People know Winsor McCay? Yeah. He blows my mind. He's like the Bill Plympton times 100. He is so he draws these characters He's so fast. He does every drawing in his films. Nobody else does drawings. His own idea. They're very funny, beautifully drawn, and he's a big influence on me. What's this guy? N.C. Wyeth. Check him out. He was an illustrator in the 30s, and the same time that Charles Adams was around. And he, most beautiful illustrator there is, and his sense of design. When you're doing animation, you got to have good design. It's got to be clear. It's got to be easy to read what's going on, what they're doing. And the N.C. Wyeth was a great designer of illustrations, and he didn't do cartoons, but he did illustrations, and they're masterpieces. They really are beautiful. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, very good. How much time do we have? 45. I think I could do a drawing for everybody if it's real simple.